You've probably been told that it takes about 2 years for a new nurse to become truly competent. It's said so often, it has hardened into fact. Today, I want to challenge it. Patricia Benner has shaped my entire career. Her novice to expert framework was the backbone of both my MSN and my DMP research on failure to rescue. And here's what I've come to believe. Benner was right about expertise, but we've been wrong about one word we attach to it: time. Benner described a nurse's development across 5 stages, from novice to expert. The novice works from rules and context, free facts. The expert works from none of them. She reads a situation intuitively from thousands of accumulated encounters, often sensing something is wrong before she can even name the cue. That progression is real. I've watched it for decades. The problem is not the model. It is that somewhere along the way, we translated Benner's continuum into a timeline. Competence takes 2 years. You just have to put in the years. But here's the question I want you to sit with. What if the 2 years was never the requirement, only the delay? Because Benner's expert is not built by time. She is built by accumulated pattern recognition. Time is not the mechanism, just a proxy for what actually matters: reps. So, why does it take 2 years? Think about how a new graduate accumulates those reps at the bedside. She sees whatever walks through the door, in no deliberate order: the high value, low frequency event, the quiet compensation phase sepsis, the subtle post-op hemorrhage may not cross her path for months. When those events do happen, they are almost never debriefed. And reflection, the deliberate examination of the reasoning, is what converts raw experience into transferable judgment. And she's doing all of it under the worst conditions for learning: real stakes, real fear. When a wrong answer can harm a patient, the brain doesn't explore uncertainty, it hides from it. 2 years, in other words, is simply how long it takes for random, undebriefed, fear taxed exposure to accidentally accumulate enough reps to produce competence. We are not developing judgment. We are waiting for luck to develop it for us. And this is the heart of it. If time is only a proxy for delivered reps, then we do not have to wait for them. We can deliver them on purpose. The research makes this concrete. K. Anders Ericsson, whose work was later popularized and oversimplified as the 10,000 hour rule, never argued expertise was a function of hours. He argued it was a function of deliberate practice, focused, structured, feedback rich repetition, aimed at the edge of your current ability. Expertise was never a time problem. We just built a system that behaves as if it were. So, focused education compresses the continuum by delivering those reps deliberately. Give students the framework first. Concentrate the reps. 20 deterioration scenarios in a semester, not a handful over 2 years. Debrief every one. Remove the fear tax and target the lagging skill directly: recognition and reasoning under ambiguity. None of this skips the experience Benner requires. It delivers that experience deliberately, densely, and safely, instead of leaving it to chance. Now, let me be precise, because this matters. I'm not claiming we can manufacture Benner's experts in a semester. The embodied intuition of a 20-year nurse is real. It takes years of lived practice. Any educator who tells you otherwise should not be trusted. But that is not the claim. The claim is this: we cannot compress 20 years of intuition into a classroom, but we can move a new graduate to competent, safe clinical judgment reliably and years faster than random bedside accumulation does. And that gap between how fast we could produce a safe nurse and how slowly we currently do is precisely where patients are being harmed. because failure to rescue does not wait 2 years for a nurse to become competent. It happens on week 6. This is the entire reason I built the patient safety standard and the clinical judgment and safety method. Structured cases that build recognition, debriefs that make the reasoning visible, a framework that gives students something to think with, deliberate practice of the one skill that keeps patients alive from the very first semester. Benner gave us a map where nurses need to go. What she did not give us, because it was never her job to, was a method for getting them there faster. That is the work I have spent the last several years on, because the 2 years was never the requirement. It was only the delay. If that's the work you want to take on, come find me at lifebeatsolutions.com. Thanks for watching.